I identify myself as all of who I am. I'm Iranian, I'm Irish, I'm American, and America is filled with all different sorts of cultures and ethnicities, so I don't consider myself any different.
What it means to be an American is freedom.
I don't believe the American dream.
I think it is hard to be an Asian in America today.
Your Fellow Americans is a project asking questions about race, immigration, and the American dream. We're just trying to figure out what it means to be American for as many different folks as possible. Kian Shafé immigrated from Iran in the 1950s. Every Sunday, Kian and his wife Judy have their children and grandchildren over for dinner. In February of 2014, we joined them around the table to hear their thoughts on race, immigration, and the American dream.
I did not feel any prejudice from anybody. You notice the prejudice if you come to this country and you try to be different than what your environment is. And that makes you to be communicating just with your own countrymen, not with other people. And that helps the prejudice. That makes the prejudice. It's a reverse prejudice, really. And you think it's Americans that don't want you to be their friends. When you don't go participate in their activities, you can't be treating yourself different than they are.
I consider myself an American. While I have ethnic roots to Persia, I'm very proud of those. I was born in this country. I feel like I'm an American, just as any other person born in this country can. I'm fortunate that I never grew up in a community or an area where there were prejudices, because I looked and acted like everyone else. People didn't know necessarily that I had a Persian background, so I never ever had that as an issue growing up.
Race in America, it's a tricky situation. I've grown up in the Bible Belt. It's a very challenging place to live. If you do not fit the mold, you are often reminded that you do not fit the mold. However, I find that you can change the mold. You can become whatever you need to be to exist in this culture, because it is the great American melting pot, and if your particular mold doesn't meld with something else, it doesn't mean you have to change. You just have to change people's perception of who you are. And so at times when I remember quite clearly hearing a 5th grade teacher behind me during a spelling test say, during the Iran hostage situation, if I ever met an Iranian on the street, I'd slap them in the face. I immediately made up my mind, as I spelled out the word I was instructed to spell, that I would no longer be Iranian for the time being. To make sure I made the grade, I would be French. Kiki Shafé was a great French name, and nobody ever questioned me.
I see racism improving because instead of differentiating the races, we're kind of putting them together like well, there is arguments like, oh, black people are the best at basketball. Mexicans are the best at building. It's more of being in terms of, oh, they're good at this, but they're not good at anything else. That's how I see racism is now. How I see it improving is that they're being more integrated into society.
The viewpoint on racism, I've never experienced a racist event or action against myself, but I do see it with other races in society, and it's just an underground, like an underlayer. It's not meant to be seen, but you can definitely feel it. And I don't know if it will always be there. I'm hoping that gradually we will, you know, move away, but I feel like we're taking it into, I believe that we're taking the step in the right direction, and we are moving away from racism.
Are we moving away from racism? Are things better or worse than they were 25 years ago? Is prejudice just caused by people failing to assimilate? Comment below or visit kcpt.org/yourfellowamericans.